and I am making a recipe that I came up with called jalapeno bacon deviled eggs. It's like not that complicated at all, but it's really good. So the recipe is already up on my website. If you go to www.olivetims.com and click on the OT Kitchen, you'll see it listed there. You can download a PDF copy. It is already set to go. And if you like eggs, give me a little like, because you know, who doesn't love some eggs? So here's what we did. I already opened up a whole bunch of these eggs, and I did 28 eggs. I know that seems a little bit excessive, but you have to understand that I'm feeding 3 boys, myself, and my big giant husband, so we are hungry. I left a couple more just to show you how I do it. All I do is take a nice, sharp, skinny knife, and I just cut down the middle, drop the yolk in there, and put the white on the tray. So I will not store them like this. It's just, I did it for presentation purposes, I guess. So you can see how they are, and then I'll put them in a really ugly plastic Tupperware. It'll be great. So for now, I did these hard-boiled eggs. Usually they come out pretty clean when I peel them, and these ones gave me a hard time. Not really sure why, but it just happened. So I'm gonna throw the rest of these in there. They pop out real easy. And then that's it. All right, so we got that going. The next thing that I'm gonna do is chop up the bacon. So I have about half a slab. So yesterday I went to go see my brother who's in town with his family, about an hour away from us. And I made these for everyone, and the kids just like, I think the kids ate more of them than the adults did. So if you're worried about getting your kids to eat more protein and more good fats and more eggs, then give this recipe a try, because they'll probably really like it, because who doesn't love bacon? So this is, bacon is already cooked, and I just had it in the refrigerator. So I'm gonna chop through here rough, and then I'm gonna go back through and try to get it a little bit smaller. It's a little easier to cook when it's like a little warm, because it's more crispy. That's okay. It'll still work. So I'm just gonna run my knife through there. I'm pretty much making like bacon bits. I wouldn't recommend using like store-bought bacon bits, because I don't think that they would be very good, but these ones are absolutely delicious. So I would say there's probably about like half a cup or so of bacon here. You can definitely use more, but I wasn't trying to do extra. And you can also use it as a garnish, which is really nice. So I'm just gonna drop all the bacon in there. You can mash up the yolks before you get started, but it's just an extra step that I like to avoid. I would rather just do it just like how it is here. Drop it right in. My finger's a little bit greasy now. Give them a quick rinse. And then the celery is optional. So I've made these with celery, and I've made them without. I think the recipe on the website calls without, but I had some extra celery in the fridge, and I did make them yesterday with celery. Normally I do them without. So they tasted really good. The little added crunch was nice. So I usually cut this up pretty small, because you don't want really big chunks of anything when you go to take a bite of it. You want everything kind of uniform. It's nice. Cut these up nice and small, and then just run through. I didn't cheat this time. Usually I have everything like already cut up and prepped, so I can just dump stuff in, but I figured why not? I haven't been on in a while. Figured I might as well chop and talk as I go. So I can always add more. That's a stalk and a half of celery, and I think that that's going to be good, because I don't want the celery to overpower like the other stuff, but it is delicious. Tastes really good in there. Okay, now if you have fresh jalapeno, then totally use that, but I just have the jarred stuff, so that's what I'm going to use. And then if you do use fresh, save a little for the side to garnish, because they don't have a whole lot of color. Like once you get all this going, there's not as much color as there would be if you were to throw a little green on top. And I do the old school paprika sprinkle. I don't even know if that makes a difference in taste or not, but I do it because that's what I'm used to. The regular deviled eggs that I grew up on. And I'm gonna make these spicier. So the ones I made yesterday for my brother's family, I wasn't sure how much spice they wanted. I know my brother likes spicy, but I wasn't sure about everyone else. And I also knew that I would be making them for kids. So everyone in my house really likes spicy food. And they love bacon, so this is like the best thing ever. We got a little tired of just eating plain hard-boiled eggs, and I think that that's kind of why I wanted to change it up for a while, because the kids do like them to snack on them like after school or like before dinner, if dinner is like running a little bit late. So I would say, let's see, how much is here? Maybe about 3/4 to a full cup of jalapenos, and you have to just go based on, number one, how spicy your jalapenos are. So if they're fresh, I would like cut off a little chunk just to see how hot they are before you start throwing them in food. Because if they're super spicy ones, then you don't want to use quite as much. These are, I guess you call them pickled. They're jarred. And these aren't too bad. They're pretty spicy, but they're not as spicy as some fresh ones that we've had. And most of the seeds are at the bottom. So if I were adding more seeds, I probably would test it out. But spice is really good for your body naturally, and it also, if you like spicy food, if you can handle it, it's really good to eat because you tend to eat less when something is super spicy, which just makes sense, right? So let's see, I'm not gonna add all of this. I'm gonna add most of it, and then I'm gonna give it a taste. So I'm gonna reserve just a little bit. I can use that, I guess, for a garnish if I want to. There's maybe about a 1/4 cup right there. So I got that one there. Rinse my hands again real quick. And then we're gonna add the wet stuff. So I have like regular yellow mustard here. And I'm just gonna put probably, I would say about 2 tablespoons of yellow mustard. And then this is real mayonnaise. And we're gonna use probably about, let's see, that's about a 1/4 cup. I'm terrible with measurements, so if you see me like saying that something is this measurement and it's totally inaccurate, I apologize. I just go by sight and I go by like how things taste, and then I just adjust it. I'm trying to do better because if I'm going to be putting recipes at places, I guess I should try to get them as accurate as possible. So please forgive me if this is not on point, but it'll taste good, and it's good because you just got to play around with it. Okay, next thing I'm gonna do, this is onion powder. I'm gonna throw some of this in there. Probably a teaspoon or 2. We have garlic powder, about the same amount, teaspoon, teaspoon and a half. Now the salt, I go a little light on the salt. This is Himalayan pink salt we're back to. I go just a little bit light because the bacon's in there, and then I'll taste it, and then I'll add more if I need to. And then black pepper, which this is coming out really slow. Black pepper, we'll probably use about a teaspoon. And then this is celery seed. Excuse me. About half a teaspoon of celery seed. And then some paprika just to get a little color on the inside, and then we'll also put some on the top of it as well. So then I just take a fork, and I'm just gonna start to mix it all together and break up some of those egg yolks. I don't use a blender or any type of like hand mixer, just because if you do that, it's gonna get really finely pureed, and it might like, I like the little chunks of jalapeno and bacon in there. I don't want them to become completely like 100% mixed in. Just incorporate it. And then you just go by look. So if you look at it and it looks like a little dry, then you're gonna add a little more of the mayonnaise. So I have another jar over here. So I thought that might happen. Nothing worse than some dry ass deviled eggs. Nobody wants that. Here's about another 1/4 cup. I really have no idea. It's another big spoonful. I always add a little less because I don't want it too mayonnaise-y. And then I just mix and see how it is. Well, that looks pretty good. All right, and then I'm just gonna grab a spoon to taste it. You gotta taste your food, guys. You can't be putting stuff on the table without it being taste tested first. All right, so there's plenty of salt. I can taste the bacon. Celery tastes good. I'm not gonna add any more jalapeno because it is spicy, but it's good spicy. It's not like overdone. And I'm just gonna add a tiny bit more mayonnaise, like maybe another tablespoon. And then that is it. I did use a good quality mayonnaise. This one, I've never used it before, but it tastes really good. It is 100% cage-free eggs, so a little higher quality than like your basic stuff. But if you get Best Foods or if you get Hellmann's or Heinz, like real mayonnaise, you just want to avoid like that Miracle Whip because that is not going to taste very good. All right, put these over there. And then here's my trick, which I didn't even know this was a trick until yesterday. I did this at my brother's house, and he was like, oh, they asked, they're like, oh, where'd you learn how to do that? I really have no idea. I think it was just probably, I watch a lot of like Food Network. I enjoy it. I don't know. I'm kind of a nerd. So all I have here is like a quart-sized freezer bag, and I stuck it inside of a cup. And then I'm just gonna use it like a piping bag. And I'm gonna put the mixture all the way down in there. This just holds it so that way it's easy. It's like another hand. And I'm gonna fill that all the way up. And the kids are like hawking right now because they want some of these right now. They want it for a snack. This is great for teenage boys. Like usually, Essex will be looking for food immediately when he gets home, and then he'll have a big dinner, and then he's looking for food again a couple hours later. So this will like fill him up really well. I probably give him, he usually gets, I would say like maybe 5 or 6 halves in one sitting. And then the same for Butch and myself. I just took this out of the cup because there's a little extra room in there and also some extra mix. And this really, you can like overfill them quite a bit because it makes a lot of the filling. Usually there's filling left over. So don't be shy. Nobody wants just to eat a barely dressed egg white. That's no fun. Unless you're on some type of diet. That sucks. All right, here we go. And these are completely low carb, possibly no carb. I don't think anything here really has a high carb count. So if you are watching what you eat, this is a really good snack or meal or whatever you want to call it. You can even eat these for breakfast. It's bacon and eggs, nothing different. All right, so I just cut the corner off there, and you want to cut a pretty good chunk because remember we have like big pieces of jalapeno and bacon in there. And I fill them about that full. Let me see if I can get, no, I can't move that one. Allow them down? Yeah, well. All right, so I fill them about that full. And I'll put some pictures below also so that way you guys can see like an up close. But I'm just gonna go along here and fill all these up. I'll make sure I use all the mix. So if I have to go back through a couple times. And then I'm just gonna dust them lightly with some paprika, and I'll show you that. You'll be able to see it much better in the photo that I put down below. Remember guys, this recipe is already up on the website. If you go to olivetims.com and you click on the OT Kitchen, then you can see this recipe and a bunch of other ones, but this I had made them a couple of weeks ago. So I put the recipe up, but I didn't have the video for it. So now we have it all. So once I fill all those eggs, and I just take the paprika and I just do like a really light dusting over top, just to give them some color. And I guess paprika does have some flavor too. And then if you want, you can throw some of those jalapeno pieces on top if you want to like make it really pretty, or just leave it just how it is and eat it. So that's it, super easy. I hope you guys try this recipe. I hope you like it. And remember, you don't have to use as much jalapeno. If you're kind of like on the fence about spice, just use a little bit less and it's totally fine. You're still gonna get a little bit of a kick. These are really good for parties too because they're super simple to make and very cheap. Eggs are really cheap, guys. They're a great source of protein and fat, and you can get quite a lot of them for quite a little amount of money. So go for it. And then this is a great way to use a lot of them up instead of just making like plain hard-boiled eggs and using hot sauce or like whatever you tend to put on your hard-boiled eggs. Okay, so I'm gonna finish this up here. Hope you guys have a great day.